All right. So as we transition from OWO to NWO, and that's for Old World Order to New World Order, because there's no stopping it, guys. And before I even go into this, hear me out. I'm not saying give up. I'm not saying turn in your. I'm not saying you don't stand for something. I'm not saying give up and just die. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as we transition, you don't have to like it, you don't have to accept it. I say if you have fight in you, fight. If you have courage and honor and do what you need to do, right? And I'm gonna let you define what fight means. People define that differently. I'm gonna go vote. I'm gonna write my legislation. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm gonna go protest. I'm gonna go march. I'm going to get on social media. You define what that means, okay? Um, but I want you to hear me out, and I've been doing a lot of thinking. That's why I've kind of taken a break from making these videos back to back. Not to mention I had to go into the office this week, and I'm just dealing with my grandfather quite a bit these last couple of days, just back to back, going over there and so forth. And that's another story. He's doing fine. But I will say this, looking and reflecting on my own life, dealing with my grandfather, seeing how he is old world order, right? He grew up in the old way, and I kind of grew up under his umbrella in the house, and that's how he raised me. I see the times are changing. I see that there is no stop in progress. Imagine trying to stop time. Imagine trying to stop the way the clock goes around, right? You can't stop it, right? We can live in the past. We can think in the past. We can reminisce and say, oh, I remember when I used to go down to the store and bubble gum was 5 cents, and I could buy a bag of chips and a bottle of soda water and bubble gum, and for like $1.50 or whatever, maybe even less. I remember when gas was 79 cents a gallon, those were the old days, when you can just cruise on a full tank of gas and fill up, and it was nothing, right? The freedoms that we had during my time growing up, and for those that are older, lived in a different time, right? We knew what it was like to live freely, and as free as it could be, much freer than today, right? And then we grew up in a time where there were no cell phones, no social media, no Facebook, YouTube, no TikTok. We just went out and played, right? Some of us grew up when the first Atari 5200 came out, and then we just became gamers. Or back in the day when people had the big jukebox, and they would go down the street and they were blasting it and breakdancing. And if you grew up in the 80s and you saw all the 80 movies, go back and look at those. Well, we will never see those times again. We will never see the cool action movies that were made in the 80s. I mean, anywhere from Terminator to Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon, right? Die Hard. All those movies that were action-packed, the Steven Seagal movies, I know they look cheesy now, but back then, the violence and the things that were said, I mean, you look at Blazing Saddles, I mean, a movie like that will never be made today, right? That history's gone, that time is gone. And so that's what I mean by reflecting on the way things used to be versus the direction we're heading. And guys, believe you me, I would love to live in the past. I would love to freeze time and say, nope, we're going to stay this way forever. I see the writing on the wall, as many of you do, and some of you don't want to accept it, and some of you want to say, no, never going to happen. And I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not. Some of you may think I'm just sitting on the fence, not taking sides. I have to decide that that I'm on, and to each their own, right? Everybody has to battle at their own home front the way they see fit. I am for the Second Amendment. I am for the American flag. That's why I still fly that sucker right there. Look at my hat. But this country has changed. It's changing right before our eyes, and it's like there's no stopping it, right? And I've said it before, unless there's some unnatural event, disaster that takes place, or real shit hits the fan, zombie apocalypse, or full out blown war, we'll never see a reset like we think. We like the way we think, like, okay, this is the only way it's going to happen, because doing it the political way is never going to happen. I mean, these people, if you notice on TV, they're at private events, they're at big concerts, they're at, the award ceremonies. None of them have masks on, but everybody else has to have them, right? The reporters, the waiters, the staff, the people that are doing the valet, all the peasants have to wear the mask, right? And I'm not saying the masks don't work. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying any of that. You do what you feel is best. I saw a video the other day. These two nurses were recording at the job, and the employer would not say they were fired. They just kept saying they were terminated. And the lady nurses were like, "There's only two options here. Either I'm employed, or you're firing me. I'm not." There's no terminated. What does that mean? And I think that they're trying to get away around the logistics of saying you're fired, so there's no lawsuits and there's no unemployment for them to go file, right? It's a mess, guys. And I don't want to see anyone lose their job. I don't want to see the volume of nurses and doctors quit their jobs or leave their jobs, because that's gonna hurt the hospital system. When you go in to need assistance, emergency, that's gonna cause more wait time. That's gonna cause shortage. That's gonna put more stress on the existing staff that's there. There's just no stopping it. And the other thing, I'm trying to ramble here and think of everything I want to say in this 10-minute or less video, is that I think about my grandfather. And I thought to myself, we're all gonna die one day. It's inevitable. Nobody can live forever. As much as you want to inject Botox and do plastic surgeries and tighten the skin and get on these Herbalites and all this yoga meditation and stay healthy. Even the most healthiest person can have a heart attack swimming in the water, doing exercise. You can have a brain aneurysm come up and boom, that's it, you're done. There's nothing to stop that. It's inevitable that we're all going to die, right? So what does that mean? Live your best life. Enjoy today. Enjoy the moment. You're not going to take anything with you. They're not going to bury you with all your pew, 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 your 10,000 rounds of ammo. That shit's going to go to somebody else, and somebody else is going to inherit it. Enjoy what you have today. Right? Make the best of it. Definitely prepare for tomorrow, next week, winter's coming, all that shit. Shit is the fan. Prepare for it. But live your life. Make sure you live your life, because you ain't taking none of that shit with you. Remember that. And the last thing that I'll say is just make the best of what's to come. Shortages, the cargo ships are all out in the sea. That's a mess. There's rumors of talking to go into war with other countries. I mean, we're still dealing with this whole, pandemic thing, and then there's the arguing, the division among people, the haves and have-nots, and it's just a mess, guys. I mean, it's taxing to the point where we're all exhausted, we're all frustrated, we all want some normalcy. Hell, I'm even tired of this shit. I enjoy working from home, don't want to go back into the office, but at this point, I'm getting to the point of getting exhausted of just seeing the news, and it's just like, I gotta cut all that shit out. So that's kind of why I've taken a break from everything on. I'm still keeping up with some of it, but not to the full extreme. So I'm keeping this under 10 minutes. That's all I got. Love you all. Peace. Pray. I'm out.